Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bible Summary Series. Today we're starting in Deuteronomy. In this book of the Bible, the Israelites all gathered together on the brink of the Promised Land, and Moses spoke to them before he died. From Deuteronomy chapter 1 to chapter 34, we read of how Moses warned and encouraged the Israelites before they entered the land of Canaan. He reminded the people of everything God had done for them, how he had led them out of Egypt, guided them through the wilderness, and given them his law, and of all the times God had provided, punished, and preserved them for the past 40 years. God will bless you, Moses said to them, if you will keep his commandments and love the Lord your God with all your hearts. But he will greatly curse you if you turn away from him and worship false idols. In Deuteronomy chapter 31, Moses gathered all the Israelites together and said, "Today I am 120 years old. I can no longer lead you as I used to, and the Lord has already told me I will not cross the Jordan with you. But do not be afraid. The Lord your God will go ahead of you and destroy the nations in your path. You will take possession of their land, and Joshua will lead you across the Jordan River, just as the Lord commanded. The Lord will deal with these nations the same way he dealt with Sihon and Og, those Amorite kings he destroyed. He will deliver them into your hands, and you must follow all the commands I have given you. So be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never fail you or forsake you." Then Moses called for Joshua, and in front of all Israel he said, "Be strong and courageous. You will lead these people into the land the Lord promised their ancestors. The Lord himself will go before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. Do not be afraid nor dismayed." After these words, Moses wrote down God's law and gave it to the priests, the descendants of Levi, who carried the Ark of the Covenant, and to all the elders of Israel. Then God warned Moses that in the future the people would forsake him and chase after idols. So he gave Moses a song to the Israelites to warn them and to remind them of his power. In Deuteronomy chapter 32, Moses recited the entire song to the people, accompanied by Joshua son of Nun. When he finished, he said to the Israelites, "Take to heart all the words I've spoken to you today. Teach them to your children, and obey all the words of this law. For they are not meaningless, vain words to you. They are your life. By this word you will live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess." That same day the Lord said to Moses, "Go up into the Abarim range, unto Mount Nebo in the land of Moab, across from Jericho. Look out over the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. There you will die on the mountain you climb, and you will be gathered to your people, just as Aaron your brother died on Mount Hor, and was gathered to his people, because you both broke faith with me among the Israelites, at the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the desert of Zin, and did not uphold my holiness among the Israelites. Although you will see the land before you, you will not enter it." In chapter 33, before climbing the mountain, Moses spoke a unique blessing over each tribe of Israel. Then at last, in chapter 34, the last book of Deuteronomy, Moses climbed up from the plains of Moab to Mount Nebo to the top of Pisgah, directly opposite Jericho. From there, the Lord showed him the entire land, from Gilead to Dan, across Naphtali, and the territories of Ephraim and Manasseh, all the way to Judah, stretching to the Mediterranean Sea. He also saw the south region and the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, as far as Zoar. "This is the land I promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to give to their descendants," the Lord told him. "I have let you see it with your own eyes, but you will not cross over into it." So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, as the Lord had decreed. They buried him in a valley in Moab, across from Beth Peor. But no one knows the exact spot of his grave to this very day. Even at 120 years old, Moses' eyesight was still sharp, and his strength had not faded. After he died, the children of Israel mourned for Moses for 30 days until the time of weeping and mourning was over. Then Joshua son of Nun became their leader, and he was filled with a spirit of wisdom because Moses had laid his hands on him. From that day forward, the Israelites listened to him and did as the Lord had commanded Moses. Never again has a prophet risen in Israel such as Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face, whom the Lord used to do such mighty signs, wonders, and miracles in the land of Egypt, to the Pharaoh, to all his officials, and to his whole land. And no other prophet ever did as many powerful and mighty deeds as Moses did in the sight of all Israel. In Joshua chapter 1, after Moses, the servant of the Lord, died, the Lord spoke to Joshua, son of Nun, who had served as Moses' assistant, and said, "Moses, my servant, is dead. Now get up and lead all these people across the Jordan River into the land that I am giving to the Israelites. Every place you set foot will be yours, just as I promised Moses. Your territory will stretch from the wilderness and Lebanon in the north all the way to the great Euphrates River in the east, including the land of the Hittites, and onward to the great sea in the west, where the sun sets. No man will be able to stand against you for as long as you live. As I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will never fail you or forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you will be the one to divide up the land among the people, which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous. Be careful to follow all the law and instructions I gave to Moses. Do not turn from them, be it to the right or to the left, so that you may prosper wherever you go. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to do everything written in it. Then you will prosper, and you will have good success. Have not I commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." After hearing God's words, Joshua turned to the officers of the people and commanded, "Go through the camp and tell everyone to gather their supplies. In 3 days we will cross the Jordan to take possession of the land the Lord our God is giving to us." Then Joshua turned to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh and said, "Remember what Moses, the servant of the Lord, told you. The Lord your God has given you a place to settle and rest here on the east side of the Jordan. Your wives, children, and livestock may remain in the land Moses assigned to you, but all of you, all your mighty warriors, must cross the river fully armed and lead the way for your fellow Israelites. You must help them until the Lord gives them rest as he has given you, and they also take possession of the land the Lord your God is giving them. After that, you may return to your own land and enjoy it, the land Moses, the Lord's servant, gave you on this east side of the Jordan River." "We will do everything you've commanded," the people answered Joshua, "and we will go wherever you send us. Just as we obeyed Moses, we will obey you. Only may the Lord your God be with you, as he was with Moses. Anyone who rebels against your orders and refuses to listen to what you command will be put to death. So be strong and courageous." And so began Joshua's leadership under God's promise that he would be with him, just as he had been with Moses.
In the desert we saw wonders as you parted raging seas. Through the fire, through the thunder, still you drew us to our knees. Standing now where Moses left us, eyes on promise yet unknown. You say, "Do not fear tomorrow, for you never stand alone." He goes before us, he stands beside us. His word is a fortress where we can abide. So be strong and be bold. beside